Hey everyone, welcome to week 8. Just want to take a few minutes to go over the agenda for the week so that you are aware of the lessons and homework assignments in store for you. Go ahead and take a look here. Obviously, first you're going to have to take the week 8 attendance quiz. Remember that the questions on that quiz will come from the material we covered in week 7. And once you complete that quiz, you'll then have access to everything else here in week 8. The first item you'll see under the attendance quiz is, of course, a brief review of week 7. And then we have one lesson this week, and that is our follow-up lesson for everyday use, which was the short story that you read for homework last week. So make sure that you watch that lesson. The PowerPoint will be linked below the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this story because it's one of my absolute favorites, but we're going to go through obviously all of the literary elements and talk about how those all work together to reveal the themes of the story. All right. And of course, all of that information is, possibly going to show up in some way, shape, or form on the short stories exam in week 10. All right. So please make sure that you go through that lesson and really think about all of those elements and how they show up in the story. Your homework for this week, you have Journal 8, which is, of course, a follow-up to last week's discussion. So make sure you watch the videos located in the instructions and try to have that in by Sunday night. And then you have an assignment. It is our last short story that you're going to be reading, and it is called Speech Sounds by Octavia Butler. So please make sure that you watch the instruction video there, or at least pay very close attention to the written instructions and pay very close attention to the actual questions. And again, they are basic questions, but there's one that that students end up sort of answering incorrectly because they're looking at the wrong section. So please make sure that you are paying attention to those instructions, whether it's the written form or watching the video where I go through it. But that is our last short story. And, we'll be discussing it in detail next week, but try to have that assignment in by Sunday night. And then we have week 8 discussion, of course. There's a video located in those instructions if you need to watch it for a better understanding. Otherwise, just have your first post up by Thursday night so that everyone has plenty of time to respond to 2 classmates by Sunday night. This discussion, normally they're open for a full extra week so that you can post for half credit if needed. But we are getting towards the end of the term. And so I kind of have to sort of cut off when late work can be accepted. So for the week 8 discussion, you will have until Wednesday of week 9 to post for 50% credit if needed. So if you're posting, during week 8 from Monday to Sunday, that's full credit. Then week 9 will start on Monday, and you have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to post for half credit if you missed it during week 8. But it will close Wednesday night instead of the following Sunday. And that brings us to the next item here under the homework is a reminder of the late work deadline. We are in week 8 now, and if you remember on the syllabus, it says that, although I pretty much accept late work all through the term, regardless of how late it might be for the most part, week 8 is the cutoff for all late work. So this is it. Anything from weeks 1 through 7 that you still have access to has to be submitted by the end of this week, because after that, I will no longer accept any of those items. These week 8 assignments that we're working on this week, I will accept those in week 9 if needed. So, you do have a little bit of room here in week 8 to still submit late work in week 9, but anything from weeks 1 through 7 has to be in by the end of this week, or I will not accept them. Okay. All right. So that's week 8. Again, one lesson, follow up to everyday use, and a few assignments, one of which is our last short story. Right, but definitely be mindful of this late work deadline reminder here. And if you have any questions, whether it's about the material for this week, the late work deadline, whatever it might be, definitely reach out. We are starting to, the finish line is in sight. So I want to make sure that everybody is in a good place heading into week 10, with nothing to worry about except doing well on the short stories exam. So now is the time, reach out to me and, give me your questions, give me your concerns, whatever it might be, so that we can, resolve all of those issues and all of those questions while we still have time to do so, right? Otherwise, you are free to go ahead and get started on the week.